What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Fantasy Flex podcast from the Action Network and Fantasy Labs. I'm your host, Chris Raybon, and NFL Week 4 is here. It's time for our DFS preview episode, and as always, I am joined by one of the most accurate fantasy rankers in the game, the odds maker, Sean Koerner. Sean, by the time this drops, happy birthday. It'll be your birthday.
Oh,
so happy birthday.
Thank you.
How you feel? Are we feeling good? Are we kind of going the way of I don't know, Cooper Kupp kind of trending down a little bit?
Oh, yeah. I definitely feel 1 year older. I'm definitely feeling like Cooper Kupp. Aaron Rodgers, almost as old as him. So definitely feeling 1 year older, but starting to feel good that, starting to get the mid-season form when it comes to projecting these guys. Had fun setting that lineup last week. I mean, it took us a while to get there, but we got there. But again, it's always tougher trying to set these lineups so early in the week. We have a couple of guys that are questionable this week that could, become good plays later in the week or open up value. So it's always tough, but it's always fun to kind of run through these early in the week with our initial projections.
Yeah, I mean, I know you're in mid-season form. We had the call on the Jordan Mason 2 TD game.
Oh, hell yeah.
On our TD show over on the Action Network pod. So that was a great call. You and Jill, I think, did a parlay on the Action Playbook too that hit with that and Wilson. So great stuff there. But we'll get into the DraftKings lineup and then the Fanduel lineup. Here we'll kind of talk through who we are considering at each spot, making cash game lineups. Quick reminder, all of our fantasy football content, DFS tools, models available over right now at fantasylabs.com. Fantasy Labs NFL includes our in-season rankings and waiver wire tips as well. We've also added a survivor pool tool. So be sure to use code FLEX20 to get $20 off a fantasylabs.com subscription at fantasylabs.com/flex. FLEX20 once again is the code. All right, let's start it off. Let you go first on DK. I think we switched it. You went first in week 1 on DK, right? So I think even weeks, I think I go first, right?
Yeah,
that's how we're doing it?
Yep.
All right.
Yep, that's how we're doing it.
So I think we definitely have some interesting quarterback questions. So I'm not going to start there. I think at running back, I like some of the value below 6K. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to roll with Marion Hampton at 5,900 against that Giant run defense. It probably looked better than it should have because they were playing the Chiefs.
Oh.
So Marion Hampton, one of those guys that you hate in week 2, but you love in week, like once you have 3 weeks of data. And I mean, obviously it helped. Hope Najee has a speedy recovery. It's just a rough overall year for him. First the eye injury and now that. But that's in the short term. That's going to open things up, I think, for Hampton. Eventually, probably Haskins and maybe somebody else will start mixing in a little more. But short term, I still think this is Hampton's in a good spot and starting to redeem himself a little bit.
Yep. Yeah, he definitely a high floor option this week against the Giants. So since you went running back, let's get our quarterback out of the way. I think it's tougher to spend up on Josh Allen this week, just given the blowout chances. Still has a high floor, so don't hate spending up for him. But Drake Maye sticks out for me. Caleb, Mariota, if he starts again, and Dart sticks out. But those are probably more GPP options than cash game. I don't know if we would trust Dart in his first start against a good defense like the Chargers, but he's 4,500.
Yeah, it's so cheap that I like it better than I think some people ask me about Flacco, and I was like, that's a little too, no. Because he doesn't run, but I was thinking more in like the DJ at 56 to like Herbert 63 range, like somewhere in that. Mahomes is 6K as well. Like I think those are like solid top 10 guys we could get at a discount too. But I mean, we could go lower if you feel like we need the salary.
Yeah, no, I don't think that we need to go with like Dart or anything, but you don't think Maye has a high enough floor to consider in cash at 5,500? Who do you think has a higher floor? Drake Maye or Daniel Jones? That's where I'm looking at. I think
Jones.
The Rams is a tougher
just because
matchup.
Of the potential trailing game script.
Who, Daniel?
Yeah, because we saw the Panthers are off a shutout. Like, I mean, it's not like I think they're a great defense, but the fact that they're off a shutout combined with the fact that Drake Maye is like a Bo Nix to me. I mean, Daniel Jones is too, but at least like they're going to be trailing game script indoors. But like, remember Bo Nix? I was like, I just don't know what he's going to do. sometimes. It's like Drake Maye, they get down to the goal line and you just will throw it to the other team or something. So, and then if he doesn't, that could actually be worse for him. In terms of fantasy. And, so
Could you imagine if Raybon realizes that he has Trevion Henderson on his roster? It reminds me of when I was screaming not at you or Freeman. You guys were listening to me about how Dion Lewis is getting snaps over Derrick Henry. Remember those days? It kind of reminds me of that. Like he just can't quit Ramondre even after the fumble. I think he's still going to get plenty of work. So yeah, I just think that you can convince me off of Maye just because the running game might be cooking against the Panthers and they get up. And there you go. He doesn't have as big of a game. Whereas Daniel Jones, I think they could be trailing. Hopefully the Rams offense, puts up more points than their opponents. So yeah, I think he could be dropping back a lot more here. So more scrambling opportunities, more throwing. So yeah, I'm fine going Daniel Jones. That's kind of the sweet spot for me. I think the 5,500 range makes sense because I don't want to spend up. I don't want to spend down. So let's go with DJ or Indiana Jones in the QB slot.
What do you? So you don't? If Worthy comes back, would you consider Mahomes at 6K? Because that's pretty.
Yeah,
that could look stupid. Worthy, like in retrospect, like, oh man, we could have just spent 400 more on Mahomes. We just took Daniel Jones.
Yeah, Worthy is coming back. Worthy is coming back, right?
I mean, yeah, that's what I think. I mean, you never know for sure. Sometimes early in the week, but yeah, I mean, it could be a shootout against Baltimore. It could be an ugly AFC matchup. But
yeah, I'm gonna pivot to. Look at my projections. I'm going to pivot to Mahomes. Let me just double check something real quick.
Look who's taking a long time now.
No, I know, right? It's my turn this week. The birthday boy. No, let's go with Mahomes. Let's go with Mahomes.
Yeah,
I think either way.
I'm winning that way too.
Yeah, I think Worthy's going to return. Mahomes is still going to be scrambling, especially in this matchup. High stakes. So yeah, I think he's going to be foot on the gas for all 4 quarters here. So yeah, let's go with Mahomes at 6K. I think that's probably the way to go for cash.
Pretty interesting choice of Colts here that we could still choose. Like obviously Jonathan Taylor just has been so great, but he's a road dog now for a 3-0 team. So maybe you start to see a little regression if there's more pass plays, although he has been good in that area as well. Pittman has kind of come on and been a little more consistent than maybe we thought. So he could have a big game, but I think 4,600 for Tyler Warren is a pretty good spot because, Trey McBride not on this slate. So I'm going to go with him. My other alternative was kind of going down to Strange at 3,200 and punting, but I'm still weary of the Niners, especially without Bosa. Like tight end could get out in the routes, but then you have like Warner covering and guys in, it could get ugly for a tight end. So I think I want Warren in a game they could trail more than they have all year. So I think that's where I want to spend my Colt allotment for cash at.
Yeah, the Colt allotment leads directly to Warren, and I like AD Mitchell in GPPs. He's 3,100. You obviously can't use him in cash, but he's going to be a less consistent version of Alec Pierce, which again will open up more potential targets and yards for Warren because we won't have those Pierce 80-yard catches. So yeah, I think Warren's in a sneaky spot here in what could be a trailing game script. I'm going to go to wide receiver, and I love wide receiver. I think there's a bunch of options. I was gonna go Devontae Adams at 6,200. Get cute, value. Fuck it, Puka Nacua at 7,900. Like,
yeah, ridiculous.
Yeah, his point projection is massive this week, so gonna go with him. I think he's just an all-time cash play, and he's under 8K this week, so gotta go with him, especially on DK.
Yeah, and I mean Adams is technically a value, but yeah, when you look at it from that perspective of those two guys, like more weeks than not, the variance is still going to go to Nacua, or it's not going to go away from him at least. Like Adams is the one that might end up with 3 catches and miss out on points because he doesn't get touchdowns, whereas Nacua probably still catches because he catches so many balls each and every week. Just a high floor, high ceiling option. So all right, so we got. Let's get our defense out of the way now, because there are some pretty clear options. I think it's, if you want to spend down, Patriots at 3,100. If you want to spend up, Lions at 35 or Bills at 37. But I'm going to go kind of mid-range here, since I don't know if I want to play any other guys on this team, but they are a 7-point home favorite, and that is the Houston Texans. The one thing I can trust with the Texans is they could play some defense. I believe they came in the last week line of fewest scores per drive, and lo and behold, another one of these like 17-10-ish games. It was what, 14-9, 20-19, and 17-10 Houston. That's been their game. So one way or another, I think they get us home here. So 3,400 for the Texans. That gives us an average of 55.50 for running back, 2 wide receiver flex.
All right. Well, I think I think I'm going to go back to wide receiver. Kind of want to know how much money we have before we get our second running back. So, can't use Devontae. We have Puka, but Devontae is a nice value. London, if you believe in him, still is a good value. I think the interesting thing is Trey Tucker at 4,200. What are we doing with him? Because I think he's going to be pretty chalky in both cash and GPP, but he seems like more of a GPP option.
Mm-hmm.
But he's going to be highly owned. So interesting decision there this week with Trey Tucker at 4,200. Sticks out like a sore thumb.
I think he's one of those guys where it's like there are enough other ways to construct lineups with higher floor guys than Tucker, who's, like you said, more of a GPP option. Although we do like the routes.
Yeah.
But I think there are enough ways like that could potentially be an edge to just not have Tucker in case he does flop, because that's kind of that's kind of what those receivers do. They'll have one big week to make up for like 2 or 3 bad ones, and then the minute you're out on them, they'll have another big week.
Exactly. So I think for cash, I'm off him, even though he is points per projection, very solid. But again, he has a wide range of outcomes. We don't really want that in cash, but just worth talking through there. What about his teammate Jacoby Myers at 5,700 or 5,400?
Yeah, for cash, we do have to consider that could be risky, because if we think Tucker's rostership will be high, if we're wrong and Tucker hits and he's cheaper, that could put us in a bad spot too. So I almost feel like if we fade Tucker, we probably have to fade Myers just because of that, more so than I think he's a great point per dollar guy, but that's how I would probably approach it. Personally, I just wouldn't want to have in cash. I wouldn't want to have the opposite of that variance either. I would want to have that in tournaments. In cash, I would just try to fade the situation and build like a lineup of guys that weren't related to the Raider game, maybe, or at least to their side.
I hear you on that. I agree. But I'm putting him in our lineup, and I will take the blame.
Fair.
If Trey Tucker goes off again, I will take the blame. But I think this is a good time to kind of like sell high on Trey and buy low on Jacoby. If anything, I'm more concerned that Michael Mayer is probably out, so Brock Bowers is probably going to run a few more routes, which could eat into Myers' target share. But I just think he's a very high floor option still, and at that price, I still like him on DK, like a full PPR site. So I still don't mind him knowing the potential risks.
Yeah, it's tough because you got like so many options in that range. Because Devontae Smith is down there, but you never know how many Eagles are going to pass. And then you got QJ and Allen right there. But like, if the Giants, it depends on Dart too. And like, does Ladd just kind of get back to it this week? And then you got DJ Moore there, but we like Roman Dunze more. So, and then we don't know
Drake London would be the pivot I would consider at 5,700, but just the Falcons are tricky to trust.
Yeah,
right now.
Yeah.
Especially
early in the week,
So I think London would be an option there as well. But let's stick with Myers. I think I still trust him here.
Yeah, no, I think last week was probably that wasn't a great spot for him, and sure enough, Tucker ended up going like completely off, even though Myers started the game with a big catch. So yeah, I think this week it'll kind of flip. So I don't mind it. It's not like a big risk or anything like that.
Right.
Okay, so that gives us 5,600, so it really didn't change for running back, wide receiver, flex. So I am going to go ahead and I'm going to lock in Scatterboo here at 5,500. I just think that's for the kind of usage he's going to get now with Tracy officially ruled out. I think that's a very fair price, because they are at home. They're a dog, but rookie quarterback, so you probably still get some check downs, some screens, and then he's going to get all the goal line work, or should, at least he should. if there is that. So yeah, and with ETN getting kind of vultured there and being on the road, and I think Scadaboo's a clear kind of choice and helps unlock some other things. I feel better about him than Tucker as like a could be a little risky, but not risky enough.
Oh yeah, no, I love Scadaboo here. I think having Dart under center might help. Defenses will have to worry about him running, so they can, he might have more. They might stack the box more, but that's his skill is breaking tackles. So I love him here. I got a
question real quick. Yeah. So I know you're the Montgomery whisperer. He actually looked great on Monday Night Football. He's 5,700, but not really a DraftKings play. But they are big favorites at home. Do you consider him at all here, or is it just Scadaboo just as a pass receiver too valuable?
I think for cash, gotta go Scadaboo. Monty for GPPs, you might get a couple touchdowns. Monty, he's expensive on Fanduel as well. He always is a better Fanduel play.
In theory, yeah.
In theory, but this Browns defense, the Browns defense
good,
is
right?
so fucking good. So that tough spot.
That's how to ask, because he was kind of. I was like, he's kind of in the middle there. Just coming off he definitely looked better than he has in a while there, and so
the whole offense looked like
superb.
Ben Johnson, maybe even better than Ben Johnson. Like some of those plays were pretty creative, and they're still an elite offense. So going forward, I'm still Team Montgomery, but I love Scadaboo here. I think that's a great pick, and we have 5,700, 5650.
5650.
So I mean, we could spend up at receiver and see what we got, or we could spend down, see what we got for like a flex option. So if we were to spend up, I know you like Amon-Ra. It's against the Browns, but that could be more of a pass funnel. So if I went Amon-Ra, not saying I am, we would have 4K.
No.
So that's not.
I think we got two mid-range guys here.
Definitely, or at least
like a little.
Yeah, spending down like London would be the starting point and try to go from there. Quentin Johnson? Oh, Ricky Pearsall. I'm projecting Juwan Jennings at full health, and he's 5,700. And I'm showing value. I think Ricky Pearsall's in play.
Yep.
Right? 5,700.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. So, Ricky. I think that whole mid range of wide receivers is probably and then you just kind of either go another receiver in flex or.
So, if I lock him in, we have 5,600. Let's do that. And then you pick, you have, so you have a bunch of, so 5,600, you got some, you got Tony Pollard.
Yeah, Tony Pollard, DJ Moore. I'm a little worried about him, but him. You got Swift. Well, I don't know about him either. I think Pollard is probably going to be the guy just because like high floor cash player.
Yeah.
Travion is like a GPP kind of pivot just because he could like see what's been a 3-man backfield go to 1 if both of the guys get benched for fumbling. I think Olave and Pittman are probably high floor like catch options, but we don't have to spend down that low. And then QJ and it's really that QJ and Allen are hard to choose between two, and then Devontae is kind of a lower floor than he was last year. Terry is 5,500 against Atlanta, which would be
we don't
nice,
know if he's
we don't know the quarterback. Judkins, big road dog, even though he got a lot of work, kind of like Pollard. So maybe looking back on it, he might be more of an option than we even think.
Judkins,
but I'm going to go Pollard.
I think we got to go Pollard here. And Judkins, he's a cash game play, but it's tougher to trust at Detroit. But his defense, he's game script dependent, but the Browns defense will kind of help him out. So maybe not this week, but Judkins looks like a cash game guy going forward if he is priced this low, but not this week. I think Pollard's the way to go. We had Pollard on both teams last week, right?
Yeah, he got a lucky touchdown, I will say, because like Chestnut was in the game and it had a long run or something to get him there, and then he got tired or something, and then Pollard comes back in, but then they give the carry to DK, and then DK gets a touchdown and then gets it overturned, and then Pollard gets it in. So, but to your point on the defenses, the Houston offense against the Tennessee defense could still struggle, or at least I think that's a better bet to struggle than the Lions against even a very, very good Browns defense. So yeah, I think we have to go. I think we have to go powered this week. But yeah, you're absolutely right. I think going forward, if Judkins is going to get like 18 out of the 20 backfield carries or whatever it was, and he can catch the ball too a little bit. So yeah, I think he'll definitely be in play. All right, so that we got a DK lineup. Mahomes at quarterback, 6K against the Ravens. Omarion Hampton at the Giants at 5,900, and Scatterboo on the other side of that, 5,500. Along with Pollard at 5,600 in the flex. So that's 3 running backs, 55, 56, 59. So staying in that mid-range at running back. And then our wide receivers are Puka at 7,900, Pearsall at 5,700, and Jacoby Myers at 5,400. And with Myers and Pearsall, like there's a bunch of options too. Like if something changes later in the week, I think there are a bunch of options in that mid-range at wide receiver, whereas those running backs are kind of locked in a little bit. So important to note that. And then we got Tyler Warren at tight end, 4,600. I think it's a good spot. And the Texans at 3,400 on defense. And I don't mind the inverse correlation here because we're just betting on snaps, and then the Texans D, we're just betting on like a turnover or two for Cam Ward or some sacks, which hasn't really impacted Pollard from a volume standpoint too much this year. So that is our lineup on DK. Let's jump over to FanDuel, and you're up first here.
Yeah, I'm gonna just lock in Scatterboo right off the bat. I think he's even better on FanDuel. He's a little bit cheaper and half PPR. I mean, he's gonna catch passes, especially with Tracy out, but I think half PPR he's even more valuable. So yeah, let's go Scatterboo at 5,400.
Yeah, no, he's I would say probably the top dollar for dollar value there at running back. All right, I'm gonna go. Quarterback. Quarterback is a little tricky on FanDuel because some of the pricing is a little bit different. Let's punt tight end. Let's go with Fannin at 4,800 because I think he obviously hasn't scored a touchdown yet, so he's going to be priced this low, but still kind of the same underlying usage. It's just that it was like the Packers defense is very, very good, and I think this indoors at the Lions, it could be a little bit different. But if the Lions blow him out, I think there's just a much better chance that he could pick up like some important garbage time usage in terms of just the pass game in general, which wasn't there against the Pack because the game was close at the end, even though the Browns were down the whole time. So I think Fannin is a little bit undervalued because of how that game played out. I don't think most of them will play out like that if Cleveland's on the losing end of it. So yeah, going with Fannin at 4,800. I considered Andrews at 5,300 as well. Coming off the 2 TD game and likely back. Figured might as well just punt because Warren is a little more expensive here at 58. And I know it's a little tougher here. With you usually like to get a pay up for a stud here, whereas like on DK, Puka was so underpriced that it was a little easier. So I'm gonna give us some salary to work with Fannin here at 4,800.
I'm gonna go with Tet here at wide receiver at 5,800. I mean, he is an absolute demon. Bryce Young has been holding him back a little bit. They've almost connected on some incredible touchdowns so far. But they play the Patriots this week, who they might get Christian Gonzalez back, which he might be on.
That would be a big deal, wouldn't it, for Tet?
Yeah. So against man coverage, though, he leads the league in yards per route run at 5.88. Raybon ahead of JSN. Well, it's off. It can only go down from here. Yeah. But if he's if he's 5,800, I'm all in here. So I just think
do you
he's
feel
a
better
good
about
cash
him
game.
than like Pittman at the same price, even though I know we haven't picked a Colt yet. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Just lock him in. And I'll deal with it. If he only gets like 3 catches for 30 yards, I'll eat that crow. But he is just so freaking good. He should not be 5,800. It kind of reminds me back, what was it, like a few years ago? I think it was DK kept having T. Higgins at like 5K. I was like, what the hell are
he was
they
like
doing?
5,300. Just T Higgins every week.
Yeah, so it's just like as long as he's under 6K, I'm gonna be in on him. And I thought he was a bit of a, people are taking him wide receiver 20, and I thought that was a reach, but that was before they traded away Thielen and Coker's on the IR. Coker might be back next week, right?
Next week,
yeah, he might eat into Tet's target share a bit, but he just has very little competition. I mean, Sanders, not really a target hog, but in that offense, just one less guy that he has to compete with. So he's just kind of a high floor guy right now, and we haven't even seen his ceiling. Again, he's just missed out on some amazing, like deeper plays or like touchdowns. So, I think still got to buy Tet now, even in cash games.
All right. Hopefully he gets in the end zone. I mean, yeah, him and Bryce have been like so close, but he definitely makes more sense on Fanduel, because you usually have to take a guy like that just because it's a little more high variance, and the way they price receivers, like everyone's kind of in this glut in the mid range. All right. So let's see. That was 58. So we got
7,300
70
player.
Yeah, 7133 is that? 7333. 7333. So we got to get a defense, or let's get a I'll go defense here. It's so I thought about the Chargers at 4K flat, but it is an unknown with the rookie Dart. They are on the road across the country, so I feel like we could might as well just spend up a little bit more. The Patriots are at home against the Panthers at 4,300, but then you have the Texans at home against the Titans. I still trust the Texans defense a little more than the Patriots defense. I don't know exactly what I'm going to get. So I'm just going to lock in the Texans again at 4,400. Because if it's not their defense, it's their offense keeping their defense in play just because of how poorly they've been doing. So one way or another, I think the Texans should be a high floor defensive play. So 4,400. It's fair considering the prices of the other defenses. You have to spend like 5K, which starts to get a little dicey there. So we got 7,900 now. So that's a pretty decent average to work with.
Yeah. So let's see.
A lot of ways at quarterback you could go, because I mean Josh Allen's probably too expensive at 9K, but you have like Herbert at 7,900, Mahomes at 78, but you also have Caleb at 75 and DJ at 74 and Maye at 71. So there's it's like, where do you put that floor?
Yeah, it's kind of tough. You got options at every level. So I won't go there quite yet. We can kind of
probably is Mahomes again. Probably, I would say, because 300 more than Caleb, 400 more than DJ. But it makes sense.
Yeah, I have Drake Maye slightly ahead of him projected points, but in terms of floor, probably worth the 700 to know what you're going to get with Mahomes. Yeah, running back, we might want to spend up or spend down. I actually think Mahomes is better priced on FanDuel. Let's go with Mahomes again. We really need him to come through. But
I mean, usually does.
Patrick Mahomes. This game's going to be a shootout. It has to be. So, let's go with Mahomes. So we have about 8K per player, and that's with the defense already locked in. So that's good.
So 8K for running back, 2 wide receivers, and a flex. Good, because I thought we might need to keep some of that salary around for those guys, because it's just like I said, a bunch of guys in that mid range. So let me see. Where are you on a Doomsday this week? Just curious, because I thought you might end up picking him on one of the.
Well, I'm actually lower on him than consensus this week, which I never want to be. But I think if there's one week where I'm a little bit quieter on the Doomsday front, it'd be this week. Again, we finally saw Loveland and Burden involved last week, so that it's already a murky situation. So I'm a bit lower on him this week, not gonna lie, but he's a guy I'm always willing to bet on if you want to go that route. But this week I'm just a tad lower than usual.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. Like he's, if he doesn't catch that, what it was, a busted coverage touchdown. The variance could have gone a lot of different ways in that in that game. So I definitely see that going forward. I'm gonna go with Devontae here since we didn't. We're not Puka here. What is Puka here? He is 9,400. For that, I'd rather just go McCaffrey. So I'm gonna lock in Adams.
Oh my god,
at 7,400, and that could if you want to then go McCaffrey, or feel free.
Yeah, this is perfect. I think DK, you got to go Puka, and then Devontae really sticks out on FanDuel, and I think FanDuel's better for Devontae anyway, right? He's the guy scoring touchdowns.
Probably more likely than to just get like 100 yards and a bunch of catches. They can both do it, but Puka's the top target.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, the discount you're getting on FanDuel specifically, half PPR. So yeah, I think that sets up perfectly. I love McCaffrey on DK as well, but FanDuel, he still sticks out. 9,300. I think, the way they have prices, you definitely want to spend up at running back. And you got Scadaboo as kind of the free square. So So now we have 65.50 for a wide receiver and flex. I think that's perfect.
All right. Let me look at flex first, just because that could be a running back, and I want to see what I got there. So we know we got a bunch of wide receivers right in that range. Like there's Pearsall again. There is both Chargers guys, and Powered 6,200. So that's a running back. That's an option in the flex. I'm trying to see if there's anyone I feel better about receiver. I mean, I do at wide receiver. I think Pittman is actually a good value at 5,800. Just because the Colts will be in more trailing game script. So what would
Pierce.
What would that leave us at running back?
Below the field. Yeah.
That would leave us 993. We could get Puka if we just spent another 100.
Yeah.
But we already have.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind. I mean, Puka and Devontae are like
8,900. We can do that too.
So that would
we could even go a little higher at. Like if we go, I'm trying to see if there's a better
running back. No, I think that's
at wide receiver, because
that'd be totally fine.
If we go Pittman, we would have 9,300 for the flex. So that could be Henry. I wouldn't trust Henry. I would go Bijan at 8,900. I
would go Bijan. So I would just lock in Bijan at 8,900.
Okay.
So you would have 4,200 to spend at wide receiver, and that
42. Wait, no, that's not. Wait, that's not right. No. Hold on.
Did I?
Yeah, I think. Hold on. I might have been me, but I think if we go McCaffrey at running back, and then our wide receivers are Adams and McMillan with Scadaboo, Texans. Fanning.
I was trying other things out earlier. No, you're right.
No, off script here.
So that's 6,200, right, for wide receiver.
Yeah, it's 6,200, and so Pittman was my first thought, but if we have another 400, we could go as high. We could go QJ. Terry McLaurin, if he's playing, which we don't know, your guy Myers or Tucker, Olave in a trailing game script.
A lot. Like you got Olave, so many options in this. Sunday morning we'll know if Terry's playing or not. That'll help. But yeah, a lot of options in this range. We're 100 away from Pearsall and DJ Moore. So yeah, a lot of options in this low 6K range.
I mean, we could, because the thing about running back is we could also go.
So if you go with Barkley,
Barkley's 8,700. Cook.
If
you
go with Barkley or Cook, then you can maybe
83.
Then you can get one of these guys that you're just missing. So it really, just threading the needle here. But yeah, I think any kind of route we take in this range is totally fine.
Okay, I'm gonna go. Let's officially go with Pittman, because I still think it's a good bet for a touchdown compared to some of those other guys, and we already have Pearsall anyway, right? Yeah, on DK. So
Pittman and Olave probably have the highest floor in that range. Olave's
gonna get catches, but we touchdown wise. Probably a little bit less strong, and so that's what I'm going with. But yeah, I wouldn't mind Olave from that standpoint, but I do like Pittman a little more with Pierce likely out. Downs could always pop too, but I think Pittman still, again, touchdown bet on FanDuel. If even if they're trailing and Andy's under 6K. So yeah, I'm gonna.
He's like a perfect FanDuel play across from Devontae in the same game. So
yep,
like it.
All right, so then we got CMC and Bijan.
This team is crazy.
You kind of got to do that on FanDuel though. With you usually have to spend up to kind of get it to have it feeling good. Like when you start getting, I think that's what tripped us up last week before we ended up landing. Let's just get McCaffrey. You're like, all these mid range guys are kind of in that same bucket. So I like the way we went here. So we got Holmes at 7,800 against the Ravens, Scatterboo 5,400 against the Chargers, Bijan at 8,900 at home against Washington, and then CMC 9,300 at home against Jacksonville. And then we have our wide receivers are Adams 7,400 against the Colts, Pittman 5,800 in that same game at LA, and also Tet 5,800 at the New England Patriots. Don't know what's going on with Christian Gonzalez as we record this, but again, we have 400 to play with anyway with the Pittman thing, so that's totally fine there. And then Fannin Jr. at tight end at 4,800, and the Texans defense in the defensive special teams spot at 4,400. So a bunch of different paths because you could go a little cheaper if you like. Mark Andrews touchdown bet you could get for 500 more at tight end if you go that route. So there's a bunch of options one way or another on FanDuel. But yeah, this is the basic lineup construction that I think it makes sense to roll with here. So we'll see how we do, and that'll do it for our Week 4 NFL DFS preview episode here on the Fantasy Flex. Be sure to subscribe to the Fantasy Flex pod so you do not miss an episode all season long. We have our waiver wire episode and our player projection episode already released, and we'll be back tomorrow on the Action Network podcast with our touchdown show with Joe Gallant. So be sure to subscribe there as well. All of our fantasy projections, DFS tools, and models can be found at fantasylabs.com, or you can download the Fantasy Labs app and use code FLEX20 for $20 off an NFL subscription. That's code FLEX20. You can find Sean on X at @the_oddsmaker. I'm at Chris Raybon. Also, be sure to follow Playbook as well. And you can find us on the free award-winning Action Network app at @the_oddsmaker and at Chris Raybon as well. Until next time, let's get this money.